It starts at 3 a.m. at a dusty highway tea stall. A regular patron notices someone new sitting isolated in the corner, an old man who isn't drinking or eating. He's just watching the crowd, occasionally whispering to himself. A loud truck driver walks in. The old man looks at him and whispers, "Soon." The next morning, that driver dies in an accident. A few nights later, a happy young couple walks in. The old man looks at the woman and whispers, "Not him, you." 3 days later, she dies of a sudden illness. The patron's skepticism evaporates. A single sudden death could be a dark coincidence, but two specific, targeted events with zero warning signs represent a mathematical impossibility. He is now witnessing a perfect pattern. This forces a deeply uncomfortable question. If a stranger sitting by the side of a highway can flawlessly foresee random accidents, it challenges the idea of a chaotic world. It suggests the future is already a finished script. The patron decides he can't take the suspense anymore. He stands up and walks up to the dark corner table, sits across from the old man, and demands to know how he possesses this psychic clairvoyance. The old man offers a simple, chilling correction. He points around the room at the other customers and says he doesn't predict their endings, he remembers them. That single sentence reframes the entire mystery as a localized timeline anomaly. Remembering the future means the events have already occurred. This removes the mystery of human perception and replaces it with the cold, mechanical inevitability of a sequence that cannot be altered. Sitting at the table, surrounded by this realization, the young man makes a fatal, arrogant mistake. He asks the one question he never should have asked: "What about me?" The old man doesn't answer right away. He just points toward the entrance. The patron turns around and freezes. Walking through the door of the tea stall, it is his own exact duplicate. Same face, same clothes, sitting down at the same table he just left. The old man explains the exact sequence of events about to play out. The younger self will sit down and ask the same questions, eventually inquiring about his own fate. This specific dialogue exchange serves as the trigger that locks the new cycle into place. The patron looks down at his hands and feels a sudden weight. His perspective and his reality instantly shift. He has transitioned from a listener to a participant, physically replacing the old man in the chair. The terrible truth sets in. His quest for answers was the exact predetermined mechanism required to execute his own entrapment. To understand how this works mechanically, look at this diagram. This straight line represents the protagonist's life moving toward a specific node we'll call the investigation. In physics, the anomaly trapping him is modeled as a closed causal loop. Watch what happens as the timeline bends backward. The ultimate effect, becoming the old man, curves around to become the direct, necessary cause of the initial investigation. The end creates the beginning. Notice how the data flows inside the system. The old man only knows who will die because he saw it happen when he was the young man. But the young man only learns about the deaths from the old man. The information circulates endlessly with no actual point of origin. When the original old man stands up, walks out the door, and disappears, he isn't traveling forward in time. Once the transfer is complete, his existence within the parameters of this loop simply ceases. The protagonist believed he was acting out of curiosity and his own free will, yet observing the mechanics of the loop reveals that every independent choice he made was a mandatory step on a fixed track. In a perfect causal loop, free will is mathematically erased. The observer is reduced to a mechanical gear turning inside a perpetual motion machine. The present reality is now set. The protagonist is the old man. He sits in the exact same chair, endlessly observing the blurred movement of the patrons inside the tea stall. He lives in a state of psychological torment, possessing absolute knowledge of the impending tragedies around him. He knows exactly when the truck driver and the young woman will meet their ends, but he is completely unable to intervene. He cannot walk over and warn them. Constrained by the strict physical rules of determinism, altering the timeline is impossible. The physics of the loop require these specific events to play out flawlessly. It is the ultimate irony of foresight. Having the power to know everything that will happen equates to absolute powerlessness. You can see the entire board, but you cannot move a single piece. So he waits, night after night, staring at the door, carrying a tragic inevitability, until his younger self walks in to complete the cycle. The horror lies in the eternal repetition of a life stripped of all agency, sitting in the dark, forever waiting for the fatal question, what about me?